Well, hello there. Welcome. Happy Monday, March 3rd, 2025. And we're here to learn the draw. No masterpieces coming out of the stream. No no lessons or actual education, no teaching coming from me. Just my personal individual experience getting down and learning. Hello and welcome. Hope y'all had a good weekend. Had a Monster Hunter filled 4-day. It's been a thing. Been a good thing. It's a good weekend. Fun game. But that said, let's get into the warm-ups because I actually didn't touch a pen, pencil, a tablet all weekend. So we're stretching out a bit today. Getting used to it again. Round whatever round we're on. Let's go ahead and open up the sketchbook and we'll swap over to the screen. Haha. Gotta get the mic out of my way a little bit. Hope y'all had a good weekend. Excellent as my own. We have what we left off on this page, or the beginning of it. We did a little bit of copy, a little bit of reference. I keep calling it copy reference, copying from a reference. And those have been turning out pretty good. We sat down, we did some perspective work. I want to say that wasn't live. I was doing that work off stream, which we do a little bit. We do a little bit sometimes. But we need to start with the warm-up. We may just make this another warm-up day. We just get used to getting in here, throwing down some lines, having a good time. We'll see. I'm feeling fairly good today. But it was definitely a push to start, well, to stream. So we were feeling some draw. We weren't necessarily feeling the streaming. So we'll see what we do. Let's go to the warm up. Let's do some boxes. Let's do some boxes. Let's fill some space with boxes in a bit. See how we feel. Give ourselves a little bit of a rotation on the paper. Let's raise the desk up just a bit. There we go. Some of these lines feel good. Let's adjust the rotation and do it straight vertical, straight up. Let's do that again. Hey, Gunfingers, connected dots. I love this game. It's a pretty tough game. You keep missing all the dots. How are you doing? How was your week? I guess weekend as we come out of it. The big exercise here, of course, I'm trying to make these lines straight. Trying to keep them. Start at the dot, end at the dot with a straight line, right? And we're doing that to varying levels of success, and the faster we go, the more confident and straighter the line, but the less accurate. And there's a middle ground somewhere. I'm also ignoring the, I could be using the ghosted method as well. Doing alright, I've been working on some hobby code projects. Well, that's fun. Anything super interesting? I guess at least a little interesting, or you probably wouldn't be doing it for a hobby code project. And we've been doing hobby code projects. I remember back, as you've been doing it for as long as I can remember, you were doing them back, was it Life? There were two I remember distinctly. We're talking like 20 years ago. When you were doing like a simulator of life. And then the, that math equation that filled up a notepad and nearly bricked a hard drive at work. Fond times. Fond memories. Protocol-based social network. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna just delete these. Same thing, we gotta cut this box in half a bunch of times. But the important bit here, if I take my time, I'll make this a little bigger. I want to try to start on the line and end on the line, much like we were doing Connect the Dot. Common ways to get my life. Yeah, I remember that. Hey Cam, draw a groove in the square. How you doing, man? Happy Monday. Just some pin control warm-ups and exercises. Just some warm-ups that, you know, get me, well, warm me up. I guess I would just say warm-up. I don't have to describe the word warm-up. But also, daily pin control exercise. So ideally, months of this, weeks of this, we'll start to see pin control get a little better. Playing a little bit with the pressure I'm putting down, but let's intentionally try to be lighter this time. No more thick lines on this side, and then we'll go a little thicker on the right side and see what happens. My first hobby project was making Pong in tech school. It worked out better than the time you mentioned when I bricked a work computer with Pascal's triangle. That's what it was. That's what it was. Filled up every last bit on the hard drive so that the computer wouldn't run. I have not spent a lot of time on hobby projects. I mean, you're probably tracking, you know, some of the game dev stuff, but I never went too much deeper than that. Which I guess those count as hobby projects, but yours always seem like nice little clever projects. Try not to touch lines here too. Turning my head. Maybe I turn the tablet a bit. Move my body a bit. I don't know. We're trying to find a good position. As if that's the problem. I also have this tilting line problem I haven't quite diagnosed yet. Or if I draw a picture, a line, a box, and I'm not thinking too hard about it. All my lines will be just a little tilted. You finish your projects, which is a lot more than I can say. I'm trying to be better about that now too. I feel you. Gotta have hobbies. Alright, darker lines on this side. My hobby this weekend was hunting monsters. We put in... Let me check my hours. We put in about 46 and a half hours. We saw the credits roll, which is about halfway through the game. And then we saw the, what's the word? And then we saw the end of the missions, which is the other half of the game. So we finished what's currently available of the low rank and high rank assignments to be differentiated from all the quests. We have a whole bunch of optional quests to do. We've got some gearing up to do. And I got a whole bunch of friends who aren't quite there yet, so we got a whole bunch of co-op to do. Everybody from, what is it? I think Hunter rank 3, all the way to where I'm at, about Hunter rank 60 worth of hunts to go. I'll probably try to keep that vibe going for a bit with the group, playing / being, hanging out, being available. Do it my own progression, a couple hours a night. All right, we're doing big, thick, dark lines here, weren't we? I still am. It's somewhere in my Discord folders, though. I don't keep up with it. I'll have to see who's playing. Alright, let's see if we can split these anywhere else. There's a couple spaces like this. Okay. We took our time there. Let's do some circles. We'll do these more speedily. Oh, okay. Just George. I ain't thought about George in a bit. Kinda know them as the Georges, but did he get a divorce, or am I misremembering? His wife was my team lead for a bit. Oh man, some of these circles. We got this. We got this. Circles. I guess ovals? Ellipses. Ellipses is the right word. I said I'd go fast and we didn't. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Just doing a couple of tapering lines here. Okay, enough of that. Let's clear that out. Come on over to page 10 and 11. Well, we have some stuff on 10 and 11, but I still have space on 8 and 9. So I'm going to go back and fill 8 and 9 up before. I'm just going to do some box work in the bottom right here. And we may be calling the stream while we're feeling good. Just a nice early, get us back into the rhythm. Alright, let's see. So boxes. I want to put a box down. I think I'm going to start trying to think about these ahead of time and doing the rotations in my head. So if we start with one that's the corner's 45 degrees from us, or the corner's directly in front of us, 3-point perspective, right? So we'd end up something like that. No, well, maybe yes, no, but I'd say something like that, but then this line needs to be brought in. I have a box. Maybe not quite as rotated in quite the direction we were going, but we have a box. So let's rotate this one that way. So we end up with we start with the line, not the pencil. Let's go back to the pen. We see less of this. More of this side. Now where would and this is important, I gotta think about where the orthogonal line goes. Do you draw anything in the box? Well, what the next step for me would be is carving away pieces of this box to make other shapes. So if I wanted to, you know, let's say make it this line come down this way and that way, we could curve a line and make this three-dimensional shape. Do something like this. Alright, and then if we started to, you know, just stick in the lines that stay behind. You know, we've now got a three-dimensional shape in perspective. And the idea that if we can rotate a box freely, I can also rotate this shape. You can see we've got this top line's an issue. Let's fix that. I'm hitting the wrong hotkeys for things. It's gonna be about here. And then this line vertical, gotta converge a bit, but maybe not that much. Curve it in. More than that, more of a curve than that. And there you go. That's a better, it feels like a better shape in perspective. Hey, genuine. Yeah, all three dimensions. Yeah, literally cut the corners. And this was, you know, my understanding and general idea of construction. But we have, you know, boxes to get right before we get. Well, I want to feel better about my boxes before I move on too hard to other shapes, but we need to spend more time on it. Let's go and erase the offending lines. Anyway, we wanted to rotate that box slightly, and I want to start holding my pen a little better, but we are definitely creating issues. Alright, we're talking about the orthogonal line, so if this line here, we're looking at there, there, and there. As this box rotates to the, well, that direction, we should see this line go up, line go down, this line mostly stay the same, which we didn't see, we haven't done here. Box comes up, and as it gets closer to the center of the page, the vanishing point accelerates. Yes, no, accelerates as it gets farther. The vanishing point of this red line was somewhere over here. Now it's gonna be in more. So somewhere like that. It's a converging line. This one not quite flat. But let's say somewhere right over here. Not quite the line I wanted. Now let's make these converging. Not heavily, but a little. Okay, we've done what we actually ended up drawing, intentionally or otherwise, is we didn't just go this direction. We also went this direction. So we rotated more, what? That way? That's why we give ourselves an idea what we want to draw before we draw a random box, so we can grade ourselves. So what probably went wrong, what definitely went wrong, is the length of these lines here. They could be shortened. Now, I need to be making cubes too. I'm not trying to make elongated structures, so I think this was a little longer as well. Which would make this box and this box. I keep shaving off sections until it feels like I've got a cube. Oh well, next box. Let's do a square. Oh, I feel I'll definitely need to work on the actual holding of the pen. And then we'll rotate the square from there. Okay, so we have a square. Let's do a rotation, like we're looking straight at it. We're gonna rotate it up, so we'll draw it above itself. We end up with the same width. Do we? We do. We're rotating it away from us, so we're clear. I guess we're gonna be clear. Let's wrap the whole box. Which means we'll see the bottom of it. So we'll have the same lines, the same width at the largest point. But we'll be coming in just a bit. Here, we're doing no rotations. We're letting it lie. We'll go about 3 times the distance, but the same width higher. And that should be rotated. Cool, 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 cool. Let's go that way. So as we go over that way, the width stays the same here. We get a new edge. Just wait a minute, we gotta think about this. We don't get a flat edge because I'm only doing 45-degree turns. So if I go for the first dot, if we went a 90, if we went 45, okay, so 45 would be a vertical line, right? It would be straight down the vertical. This is a 22.5 degree turn, so let's do a 22.5 degree turn. Like in the top of my head, we would have a mostly straight line, be about that height. Maybe we'd still have a slant to it. We'd have a similar line down here, that same distance. So the problem is we're not going to see anything there, are we? Like, that's not a cube anymore. We should actually be seeing what? Something like this? I'm gonna work this out to see if it feels right. Let's take our time on lines. We should see some convergence. I mean, something like that, because we see, what we should see is, yeah, let's hit a layer, go down, and we see this section here. You know, we even have colors from multiple layers. We get a new section there. Okay. Go to use a black line. I've got two sets of layers over here. Don't know how we did that. Alright, we'll worry about that at some point later. But can I just hide this by pulling it down? Cool. Alright. That's the color layer, that's the pen layer. What's likely wrong here is what? It's gonna be the convergence of those lines. I'd say we might even have we couldn't have a vertical line there. So I feel like this line's fine. Not maybe more like that. But anything we do to this line, we have to even harder to that line. And whatever's on this side here needs to be duplicated there. Like these are the same rotational degrees, 22.5. So we gotta kind of keep that in mind. That this line, that line. In fact, here, let's try rotating. Take a look here. Yeah, that feels a little better. Let's darken the lines, but we can erase some of the old stuff to really be able to visualize this box. And then come back and we can darken. We're gonna really thicken these lines. I feel like I'm really at war with this pen sometimes and where I want it to go. Especially if I'm not rotating the canvas, which, you know, there's the answer that maybe we should just constantly rotate the canvas towards our best angle. Okay, let's come back to this box and one more rotation. We'll go that way with it this time. We'll do the same thing, but in reverse. So thinking about what I thought of before, love for this to be similarly easy, but let's see. So there's got to be some convergence in there. Not that much. Maybe a little bigger too. Now we didn't. There's something to consider here that I think I did consider there. Maybe didn't say it out loud. This should be, this line right here, should be a mostly horizontal line. This line, I think, is 45. Is this top line 45 when you rotate it? 22.5 degrees? Or sorry, is it straight up? Should mean we just converge a little here. And we just converge a similar amount here. Yeah, we're doing a lot of lines. Let's do less of that. Let's do the rotation. No, that's not it. This other box looks more box-like. What am I seeing wrong? Maybe this? I really should go back and finish my draw box work. I don't think we're getting there with that box. All right. Tried to do it a little more fast and loose. I don't think we came up with a good product. Let's do less fast and loose. Let's make the Y. Then this one. This next line is the important one. Trying to think what happens to that line there. So this line here definitely comes down when you make that rotation. So it's going to have a convergence. I mean, this is a horizontal line that theoretically, if I just I have a cube. Okay. So it actually comes down a bit. Okay. We're in the right space. We're in the right space. I'd say do it slow and tight, but that sounds like harassment. Yeah, it does. That's funny, though. I like it. Well, if we're using the Y method now, because we've got our Y. Right, the Y method would say, find the lines. If that's perpendicular, we do a little bit of a convergence. So that line, this is horizontal. Parallel. Parallel is the word. That's less parallel. Just gonna do that. And then rotate around. Do a little bit of convergence here. This is parallel. That's converging. Same thing here. Parallel would be like this, but that's converging. And converging at the same amount? No, a little less. Same thing over here. Not quite parallel. I think we have a little bit more length on this one than we want. And if we take that as gospel, we're struggling with the basics of a box. We need to start 250 box challenge. Really put the work in. I think it's loose. We've got some clear problems with... Oop, I want the pencil. We got some clear problems, I think, here with not converging. I think here as well. Like, I would almost certainly want to bring those in more. And that cleans that up pretty quick. I think similarly with both of these lines, but now that looks longer. I've made it's no longer, we're not near the square. What we should be doing is heavier, I want to say converging lines here. Shorten up, let's clean up some of these. If we're gonna converge that one harder, we gotta converge this one harder. Converging that harder didn't do anything. I mean, it's not a... The height of each of these sides should be the same. Like, this is theoretically a cube. We get these sizes, these relative sizes, mostly because this side is only rotated 22.5 degrees. What we're struggling with right now for me, like if I took a picture of this and put it in 2 dimensions, it would be easier for me to see. What I'm not physically seeing right now, that putting things in, taking a 3D object and putting it into 3-dimensional space, is currently the challenge. My mind wants to envision, wants to see. So if we start with this line here, it wants to see this corner, like out here, and this corner out there. That would create pretty extreme convergence. That's not the convergence. Try to look at what's happening at each individual edge. I mean, that's definitely distorted. But I'd rather see that distortion that way it feels. Do a little bit of cleanup, but we have a box that has some distortions, has some issues. Let's do the back of it, the back side, to see if that does anything for us. It's theoretically, what, 22, 22, these don't line up. Oh, they don't line up. They don't. Do they not? No, wait, they'd have to.
Yeah, they line up. So as these lines here. So if I continue this line out of here, that should be the corner. Wherever we decide that it meets, right? Which, you know, we've erased a few times, so we can just bring it back. So right now, if I draw a line following the convergence, you can see we're off. We should be, what, right about here? Which means lines still generally converge. And all the little problems, you know, they'll begin to add up. But I'm thinking maybe drawing the back edges of this box can help point out some of the distortions. Alright. Shake it out. Shake it out. I've barely been successful at drinking any of this coffee. Oh, but I'm gonna give our brain a break. I'm gonna call this another one of those getting back into it warm up. I'm not down for collabs, Delta. I'm just here learning, but I appreciate it. Oh, in fact, we can't even get ourselves drawn enough long enough. But I'm gonna check that out. We put down a couple of boxes. We put some thought to it. But what I need to do, I think what I really should be doing now, is sitting down on some reference with some boxes and working a bit from that angle. There's something to be said about trying to sort through this problem myself. But I probably need to pull up some reference stuff and really immerse myself in it for a bit. So that's what I'm gonna do with some of the day. That's what I've been doing with some of the day, but we're my mind's spiraling. Too many topics. We're gonna call that a day. We're gonna call this a getting back into it stream. Warming back up. We had a nice 4-day. Come back feeling good. We actually had some good sleep yesterday. We got some project of boxes to work on, and I want to, between now and tomorrow, my homework to myself is to sit down with some box rotation references, some more work, and see if we can't get a little closer to intuiting this, which is, I think, what we're definitely working towards, but we need to better understand the relationship of these orthogonal lines. And I'm saying this, maybe not even true. Maybe not even, like, the right answer. So, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll go a little longer tomorrow. We're gonna build up this drawing stamina a bit more this week. So, thank you so much for hanging out. We're gonna rotate the hell out of those boxes, guys. See y'all around.